Welcome back to the channel where we are unfiltered, unafraid, and pain recognizes pain. I really didn't have anything planned. I didn't know what I wanted to record, and something kind of happened over the past couple of days that really snapped me into a place where I'm like, yeah, I need to talk about that. We see a lot. Okay, in our chronic illness world, we see a lot of memes about invisible illness. There's a reason. We know there's a reason. That reason is because not only is it hard to see somebody who has fibromyalgia or the beginnings of an arthritic disease who haven't gotten to the place where they need a walker or a cane or are hunched over. You know, it's hard to see those. And on top of that, even the people who are in pain, let me tell you, we are fucking actors. We are Meryl Streep. We are Anthony Hopkins. We will hide it from you. You will think that we are okay. You think that we don't hurt. We are Oscar worthy. For real. It's invisible for multiple ways. And one of the things that we don't do is self-care. And I know you're rolling your eyes at me because I roll my eyes at everybody that's like, self-care, self-care. You know, no shit. You need to take care of yourself. No shit we need to eat. No shit we need to sleep. No shit we need to do this stuff. It doesn't happen, but we know it needs to happen. But when I say self-care, I mean removing the people from your life that do not add a positive health to you. I know I am the kind, I don't know how I want to put this. I pride myself on being a very unselfish person. I pride myself on always encouraging, always wanting to listen, always being there with a word. I will counsel you. I will tell you how things, could be seen from another perspective. Whether you believe in the zodiac or not, I'm an Aquarius. I like to look at things from every single angle. I play devil's advocate. I'm there for you. I will lift you up. But there becomes an imbalance because when we're sick, we don't talk about it. A fear of ours, and you're not alone, is that if you start talking about how ill you are, it's going to take over. I have an amazing friend who every time I see him, he asks me, how are you? You doing okay? Are you having any trouble getting your prescriptions? And every time I start to sweat and my heart starts to palpitate because I don't want to talk about it. I don't even want it to be in our space. So what happens is the most major thing in our life is the one thing that we don't talk about, which means that we don't ever talk. We are the people that people talk at. We are the people who provide support. And when that gets into a cycle, when it's a cycle of somebody who it's not a 50-50 relationship, stress, anger, frustration, irritation, all those things add to how terrible we feel. You know that. And the hardest part is to say, I can't do this anymore, makes you feel selfish. You have to be. And it hurts me to say that. But when it comes to, I love Jessica Kent. She's an amazing, amazing YouTuber. And she talks about her addiction. And one of the biggest things she says is you have to be selfish in your sobriety, in your recovery. And it's true for chronic illness. There comes a point where you need to be selfish in your illness. Because every time you get upset and you flare, you're hurting your body. And it's sad to say, but this isn't just friendships. This goes to family too. You would think that family would automatically understand what you're going through. Or at least try, But that's not always how it happens. And you would think that the friends that have been with you forever would understand And that's not always how it is. I have, I would say, 3 fantastic friends. I've whittled my friends down to 3. One I grew up through in high school. She encourages me. She is the person that knows that even though she texts me, it takes too much for me to even think and text back. But she knows I read it. And she will never give up on me. And she will always send me that text. She will always leave me that voicemail. Because she knows even if I don't respond, I'll hear it. And that's the biggest thing. She expects nothing in return. Because she knows that when I can give it to her, I will. She understands that. I have 2 other friends that are the same way. They understand that I make plans, but they could get canceled that same day. And they're fine with it. They know that I might need a little extra time. They know that, once again, if they call, it might take me 2 or 3 days to call them back. But they know that when I can, I will. They understand that. They accept that. They have looked at me and said, I know who you are. I know the person that you were before. I know the person that you are now. And I know that if you had a choice, you would call me back as soon as you could. I know if you had a choice, you would text me back as soon as you could. I know if you had a choice, you would be at our meeting or our date or our get-together. They know that. And that's one of the biggest parts of finding friends when you are chronically ill. It is one of the biggest struggles, is finding somebody that understands that reciprocity is a whole different ballgame when you're chronically ill. It's not quid pro quo that second. You give, and you need to find people who will give without the expectation of receiving. Because I'm that person. If I give to you, I don't expect to receive. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a human, and if I continue to give and give and give and I get nothing in return, my heart hurts. But it's not an immediate reciprocity with chronic illness. It's about investing in a friend and knowing that that friend will get you back, will be there for you, will answer you, will go out with you when they can. And I know that one of the biggest, hardest things that we run into when we're chronically ill is people who want us to make them feel better that we're sick, right? It hurts my heart so much that you're sick. I can't talk about it because it just hurts me so much that you're sick. And you're like, bitch, it hurts you? You can't talk about it? Well, what if I need to talk about it? You know, the people that want you to make them feel better because you're sick, those are the people that if you can't communicate with them what they're doing to you, how they're making you feel, self-care is saying goodbye. Self-care is selfish care sometimes. And I'm going to tell you a story, and this is really, 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 really why I wanted to go into this. There was a time my husband, this was probably 4 years ago, my husband, I'm in Florida, and my husband had to go to work for a month in Bemidji, Minnesota. And while he was up there, I was in a flare, I was in pain, and I was bad. I was bad. And I was on the phone with him, and we were talking, and he knew. He knew that I was at the point of doing something that I could not come back from. And now he's scared to death. Scared to death. And he calls, and I'm not going to say who it was, but he called somebody to come over and help me. And this person who has access to my house stood outside my front door. Mind you, I am alone in this house with absolutely the means to do something horrific to myself. And this person stood outside the door. This person stood outside the door and told me that I was being stupid and childish and dramatic, and I needed to cut that shit out. And then they turned around and left. And truly, I'll be honest with you. I'll be 100% honest with you. It was probably only that part of me that wants to spite people, that fuck you part of me, that are you kidding me part of me, that kept me from doing something that I couldn't come back from. But that's not a person that you can have in your life. Self-care is surrounding yourself with people that when that shit goes down, when the chips fall, when everything is stripped away, and you are naked and bleeding and broken on the floor, will that person pick you up and expect nothing in return? Or will that person step over you and tell you to get your ass up? It's a hard thing to cut people out of your life. It's a hard thing to make the decision that they're not healthy for you. And by no means am I saying, if you see this behavior, gone. But if you can't communicate, if you can't tell these people, if you can't speak to somebody and get them to understand what you need, then that friendship is never going to serve you. It's only going to serve to hurt you. And when your emotions are hurt, everything else hurts. So, it's always been said, you can't put more in than you get out. And a lot of my friends do, and they don't give up on me. And I try to make sure that even if I can't physically do something for them, that not a day goes by that they don't know that they are helping keep me moving one step at a time. It's a struggle. And I'm sorry. We get one life. And for those of us who are chronically ill, we get one very, very painful life. And when it comes to the people that you let in it, you can't want it more than they do. You can't want that connection more than they do. You can't want that reciprocity. You can't want that sisterhood or brotherhood or friendship or leaning on each other and knowing that the other person is not going to judge you. Even if they don't get what you're going through, they're going to know that you're telling them the truth. They're going to see it in your eyes. They're going to feel it coming off of you. And they're going to want to do everything that they can to help you. And those are friends. And you might have to whittle yourself down to a very small amount of friends and a very small amount of family. And that doesn't mean that people can't come back into your life if they understand. But you come first. Your health comes first. Your mental health, your physical health, it comes first. We are deteriorating. We are going back to dust. And this time we spend is in pain. We also need it to be as good as it can be. We can't spend the time that we have that is not in pain. If you get days without pain, we can't spend the time outside of our pain also hurting. Our heart hurting, our mind hurting, because the people that we love can't love us back, can't support us back, can't understand. So, I just wanted to kind of talk about self-care. I want to talk about being selfish in your recovery. And it's a very hard thing. And I understand if you don't agree with me. You are absolutely entitled to your opinion. And if surrounding yourself with people makes you feel better, then I am so happy for you. But I'm just letting you know what I've figured out in my life is that self-care is selfish care. And if people can't try to love you and be there for you and not give up on you, and if they want something in return, if they can't do that for you with no expectations, it's just going to lead you to heartbreak and pain. So, that's it, guys. I wanted to let you know that I love you. Pain recognizes pain. And I see you. Bye, guys.